girl instantly asked if something had happened since he was there, then stated that the hunter the teacher wanted him to meet was him. Jin-Woo pulled out his cell phone, which displayed a funny picture, and asked if the girl knew the person in the photo. The girl quickly guessed that it was Jenna and that he was probably her brother. She mentioned that she had recently gone to the hospital with her but hadn't seen him. The girl then realized that Jin-Woo must be Jenna's brother, which is why he knew her teacher. Jin-Woo responded that he wouldn't say he knew her well enough. The girl crossed her arms over her chest and looked away, stating that she didn't know what the teacher had told him, but she wasn't going back to school and wanted to continue being a hunter. Jin-Woo told her that she was E-ranked and her normal attacks wouldn't work on monsters. She needed a weapon to hunt, which still needed to be changed. He asked if she planned to fight them with her bare hands, hoping she wasn't going to become a professional hunter for money. The girl quickly cut short Jin-Woo's long speech, saying that she had heard enough of his lectures. She then stated that Jin-Woo also had an E rank. Jin-Woo mentally noted that the girl was stubborn, but told her not to worry as he wasn't going to talk her into giving up. The girl looked at him incomprehensively, thinking that wasn't he supposed to do the opposite. Meanwhile, Jin-Woo mentally remarked that she wouldn't realize the seriousness of it until she faced the problems herself. He didn't make her wait long for an answer, responding briefly that he intended to make a great hunter out of her. A respectable man with gold glasses perched on the bridge of his nose noted that the atmosphere had definitely changed. He stood with one hand shoved in his pocket, his other hand holding the handle of his suitcase, remarking that he was back much sooner than he expected. The man's attention shifted to the other person who appeared in his field of vision. He commented that it was quite the encounter, wondering who was standing in front of him. The man then asked what Hunter Wu Jin-Chul was doing there. The other man replied that he had naturally come to see an S-rank hunter. The respectable man smirked, realizing that the hunter was still working in the surveillance department. He continued to talk about how goofy this person was. The hunter asked how long the man would stay, to which the man responded that he wasn't staying long and was only finishing one job. The hunter, being fairly savvy, realized that the man had come for a specific reason, perhaps to meet hunters Jin Wu and Jin Ho. The man blurted out irritably that such interest was to be expected from the hunter, and asked if the hunter wanted to stop him. The man's anger flared easily, his expression instantly changing to fury with his eyes bloodshot. He repeated the question, demanding to know whether the hunter intended to stop him. In contrast to the man's rage, the hunter remained calm and serious, replying that he was simply doing his job. A kid in a green sweatshirt exhaled, clearly tired from the road, while another guy cheered him on, saying he was all stiff. The man with the golden glasses then told the hunter that he liked him and offered to join his scavenger guild. The hunter reflected that Hwan Dong-soo had a brother who was a suspect in a murder, and the reason for canceling the investigation was tied to this terrible man. The hunter recalled that the two were indeed related, and even they had shown a lack of emotion after the massacre of the hunters. Remembering their dark past, the hunter's gaze hardened, and he frowned deeper, mentally despising the man now in his presence. The scene shifts to an abandoned and dark location. Someone's voice is heard saying that it's been a while. The boy Jin-Woo had arrived at this desolate place with the girl, where they met with Chief An, who apparently had to be seen once more. Chief An introduced himself, explaining where he worked and his role in the management department, which his assistant Hyun Ji-chul also handled. The men seemed surprised to see the same student once again, though she greeted them briefly and responded calmly. Chief An mentally noted that the girl had an E rank, concluding there was nothing special about her. He quickly corrected himself, realizing he shouldn't jump to conclusions too hastily. Chief An recalled the frustration he had felt when Jin-Woo suggested they test out the new recruit, thinking that Jin-Woo might be interested in their guild. The chief remarked that not many people lived in this area, and the C-rank gate was ideal for field testing. Just then another person entered the conversation, noting that it was well past 9:00 and that it was time for them to stop talking and start the mission. A man clad in huge polished armor appeared on the side of the group, commenting that they were no picnic. The boy Jin-Woo asked who the man was, to which Chief An replied that he was their new A-rank recruit. He added that the dungeon wasn't meant for pampering. The boy interjected, surprised, asking if the man really had an A rank. The chief confirmed it, saying his name was Kin Chul, and as his appearance suggested, he was a tank. Chief An continued, explaining that the strength of the raid team consisted of 1 A rank, 7 B ranks, and 4 C ranks, 12 men in total. The chief further remarked that while it might seem unusual, they were still new recruits after all. He believed that if the raid was too easy, the girl wouldn't learn anything. In fact, he thought this way would help her realize the gap between herself and other hunters more quickly by observing her own performance. At this point, the assistant entered the conversation, suggesting that the raid would be easy since Jin-Woo would be participating, and that he wanted to watch it all unfold from the sidelines. A cheerful girl moving closer to the raid asked if the boy was going with her. Jin-Woo responded that he would only follow her. The girl's joyful expression shifted to one of focus as she gazed ahead, contemplating the raid that was about to unfold. Not wanting to waste any more time, she stepped forward, gradually sinking into the portal with the boy following right after her. Everything around was burning red with something yellow visible in the distance casting an eerie glow. The air was thick with an unsettling feeling. Chief On along with his assistant opened their mouths in surprise, overwhelmed by strange sensations. They stared ahead, unable to comprehend what was happening. The gate, something was wrong with it. It was changing in size, its feel was fundamentally different from anything they had encountered before. The ominous sensation in their chests grew stronger and they couldn't understand what was causing it. It was dangerous. Panic set in as they tried to retreat, but their movements were futile. The ground beneath them started to collapse, the world around them bathed in red with the wind intensifying. Jin-Woo's head emerged from the chaos, snapping out of the cycle of bewildering events. He shouted to Chief On to alert the main force immediately. The boy seemed to try saying something else, but before he could finish, he was sucked into the vortex. His hand disappeared, last trailing behind him, leaving the men in stunned silence. Chief On, now visibly nervous, quickly took out his phone and dialed the master directly. The red-haired man, visibly nervous, had veins beginning to protrude from his head as he thought about the implications of the current situation. If what was happening was true, it was far worse than he had anticipated. His eyes suddenly lit up, gleaming with an intense, fiery determination. Realizing the gravity of the situation, he knew he had to intervene. As the head of the S-rank White Tiger Guild, Baek Yun-ho understood the stakes better than anyone. This was a matter that demanded immediate action.